Let's look at factoring the difference of two perfect squares. This is the type of x squared minus y squared, or a squared minus b squared. When factoring x squared minus y squared, we have two factors. One would then be x minus y, the other is x plus y. When we think of x squared, the factors of x squared are x and x. X times x equals x squared. If you go back to your power rule, each of these x's have a power of 1. When you're multiplying with the same base, what we do is add the exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2, so that's how we get to x squared. And the factors of y squared are y and y. So it's pretty easy to divide them up evenly. If we have x squared minus 9, our two factors are x minus 3, x plus 3. Notice in each of these is that one will get a minus sign, the other will get a plus sign, minus and plus. Or you could have easily had it as x plus 3 and then x minus 3. Still the same thing. More examples. X squared, y squared minus 16. Well, in factoring here, we break these up into both parentheses, so they get an x and an x, and a y and a y. A minus and a plus for our signs. And now for 16, 16 is the perfect square of 4, so 4 and 4. And these are our factors of x squared, y squared minus 16. If we had 4 y squared minus 9z squared. Again, factoring using two parentheses. This is the difference of two perfect squares. What is 4 the perfect square of? 2. So 2 and 2. What is y squared the perfect square of? Y. So y and y. Our signs again are plus and minus, or minus plus, as long as they're opposite signs. One's a positive, one's a negative. And then we go to 9. 9 is the perfect square of 3. Z squared is the perfect square of z, so z and z. And 4y squared minus 9z squared is factored. You should be familiar with your perfect squares. So some students make a list of all of their perfect squares to help them in this endeavor. So you can find each of these, and that may help. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and so on. And that may help. Moving on, if we have x to the 4th minus 16, how can we split up x to the 4th evenly? X squared and x squared. So when factoring, x to the 4th divides into x squared, x squared. Those are the two factors for x to the 4th. For 16, 16 is the perfect square of 4. So we'll have minus 4 plus 4. When we multiply those, we get the 16, negative 16. Looking at this first set of factors, x squared minus 4 is also a perfect square. So we can factor this. X squared is x times x. 4 is 2 times 2, so minus 2 plus 2. Now when we look at x squared plus 4, this is not the difference of two squares because of the positive here. So it's not the difference. Therefore, this factor stays as is, x squared plus 4. So now, x to the 4th minus 16 is factored completely.